We're talking about defining evil in the 5D perspective and answering all your questions with live readings and now live video readings coming up right now.
He said it was like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table with this too.
My God, you're crazy, girl.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine. Somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bullshit and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday night live, everybody. I am your host, Scott Cruz. I'm your host, but I'm also your talent. I'm also everything tonight. So how was everybody's week since last week? It's been an interesting week. It's been kind of heavy waves, such and everything, but we're making it through the beginning of the season of Aquarius, right? So let's see who's already in the room chatting all that. So we have Jennifer Cruz, hello. Next to David Cruz, hello. We have our wonderful mom Nina that's in the room. She'll be taking care of you and everything that you need. Eric, hello. How's it going? Iggy, welcome. Lisa Cruz, once again another Cruz, welcome. Rashida, good to see you. Who else? We have Erica Moody, welcome, and thank you for smashing that like button. I don't tell people to smash the like buttons or anything. I should probably be more on it with that and smashing and spiking. That's spiking. Spiking that lash or smashing that like button. I don't do that enough. Nina is, of course, going to help you understand how to get your readings done. Who else is in this chat? Daryl Blankenship, good to see you too. Tommy Garassi, welcome. Tails, hello. And those of you who are watching the dental handoff, welcome. Hey, Celeste, welcome. Elisa, good to see you. Stephanie, good to see you. Celeste, hello. Allie, my love, good to see you. Kat, hello. And everybody who's watching, and I cannot see, I can only see who's in the chat, so I'm not going to call you by name. If you're sitting on the couch, can't see who you are. So there's some, I would say, some privacy there. Isaac, welcome. And so those of you who are new, first I start by doing a collective reading, and then I will open up to one-on-one readings, as well as even kind of a collective topic. The topic today is, defining evil in the 5D perspective. Because I know we look at good and evil in the physical sense, but what does that mean in the spiritual perspective? Like, how does spirit see evil? Why is it here? All that stuff we'll get into. We'll also answer any type of questions related to such as well. And I'm offering now too, as you can see on the screen here, I also will offering a live video, because I remember when I first started on Instagram, I did a lot of live video readings, and some people have been missing that. So if you want a live video reading, the link is actually, all the information is in the description as far as how you can send payment for one card pull, one question, two question. But for the live video sessions, you send a is it not Vimeo? Venmo. Sorry guys, I'm a little tongue-tied today. Send a Venmo, and then that Venmo you just kind of put live reading, a live video, and then when it is ready for you to go on, I will then offer you a link, and I will comment and reply on the Venmo transaction with the link. So you can just click that link and then join. We'll have a wonderful live one-on-one. So if those of you who want a live video session, it is there. And Nina will also direct you into doing that as well. I feel like I've been missing that component for a while, the actual connection one-on-one. And so it's kind of like, it can be cumbersome, just reading questions and just not seeing anybody's face and all that. And especially for viewers, be more interactive that way. So Nina will be able to help you with that too. All right. And so let's get on with the collective read here. And let's see what the collective has to say. The collective message is what Spirit has to say about that. And I kind of don't remember last week and the week before. I've been kind of, getting out of getting more. I've been very kooky lately, kind of how I usually am. I got serious for a while through our, energetic transformation into 2024. A lot of heaviness. Yeah, and for those of you who already got your questions in, remember for next week that will be a new option. And so it'd be fun too, because I like kind of seeing people face to face. That's the whole point of even doing this work, is being able to connect with people. And so when I'm doing all these questions by text, I'm just reading a text. I don't see a face. I don't see anything. Just a question and a first name, which that's all I really need to read, but it could be kind of like, boring. Patty, good to see you. And I'm dropping cards already, guys. Let's see what my mod has to say here too, as I shuffle. Oh, and you know what? Des, thank you. And I forgot, while I'm shuffling these cards, I wonder if my Nina has a message before we start. Sorry guys, I'm a little flustered today. Here's a message from Nina, a wonderful mod. She had a card pull.
Hey y'all, this is Nina. I'm excited to do a pull for y'all today. Already as I'm shuffling, and a little bit even before too, like when I was hooking in, I kind of felt this energy of like start, stop. Like it's like you're thinking of starting and then you stop, and then there's like, or you're starting already and there's this like jerking motion back and forth. And Spirit's saying don't let that discourage you, because that's part of the journey when it comes to this. Still take action anyways was the general message that's coming through. See those areas of stagnation and still do the damn thing you wanted to do. And it's interesting because the card that came up, well, a few cards came up, was action was the first one, which is just what we were talking about. So where can you add movement and motivation and some perseverance through those perceived blocks, those little bumps that come through on, on the path? And where can you also find home and peace within that, Where can you find that nurturing, warm shelter energy when you have those low moments? And lastly, how can you connect to community, family, and your sense of belonging to help carry you forward and support you on this, this up and down kind of experience?
Yes, I agree. And because, that kind of hesitation energy has been kind of going on with me too, just starting the session. It's been kind of, and it was kind of continuation from last week's collective read too, because I remember kind of having the same, expression last week about things kind of start full, and just kind of 2024 being that way too. So now is your time more than ever to have to really kind of get things going, and those guys who are practicing the law of attraction, guess what's main word is in attraction? Action. Gotta take action, right? We gotta maneuver around things. We don't sit and just ponder. Okay. I'm just pulling some oracle cards in conjunction here so we can actually see what's happening here. Interesting. Okay. Spirit's kind of saying right now that you guys have been like maybe carrying too much shit, carrying too much burden. And I think that that's kind of the continuation of the message of what Nina was just saying is you guys are still encumbering yourself with too much to-dos, encumbering yourself with too much issues or projects. And I think that that's kind of something that you guys need to be aware of, because even if it's just simple ideas, even if it's just kind of like, I want to do this and to-do list, you can't get them all done at once. You can't do everything on that to-do list at the same time. There's going to be an ordering to everything. And one thing I like to say too, a lot of times we get great ideas, but it actually is a prediction of the future. It's a read. read on the future. It does not mean it's going to manifest now, and it doesn't mean you have to start doing it now. So you need to be aware of your to-do list and the ordering of such, and say, is this now, or is this actually a prediction of my future? And is it something I'm going to develop and build into? Because right now it requires a lot of like emotional and intellectual, agility, and being very, agile, very focused, and very determined on moving forward and taking that action. And so, many guys get lost because you have so much on the to-do list, like, oh my God, where do I start? And saying, look at all the options that you have and how can it all fit together as like a story. Put it in a storyline, like you're creating the outline of a story, and that will help you to understand what is necessary. What do you resonate with the most? Because a lot of times people say, all these things excite me, but I don't know which option to choose. And I would say, always think about what you want the most, and even if it's like relatively close, what resonates the most. I've heard before in doing one of my previous teachers about using flipping a coin, and I always do that too. And every time I flip a coin, if I wanted heads or tails to be an option, and tails would flop, I'm like, God, I wish it was heads. Well, then that's what you want. That's the option to select, right? So put yourself through those questions. Put yourself through those challenges in a sense of understanding what does need to come first, what takes priority. And so that will help you to stop encumbering yourself with the confusion of, I have so much to do. I have so much, I don't know where to start. And then also understanding, not only do you have your own to-do list, how much are you carrying when it relates to other people in your relationships in your life? How much responsibility are you taking for others? And if you are in situations where you have to caretake a loved one, and that's something you have to do, like a mom or a parent or something of that nature, you have no business or the bandwidth to take care of anybody else either. Cut that out. So understand, you don't need to be carrying so much. That is not your job, to carry everything in life. Your job is to grow in this lifetime, is to evolve and to expand. And using that intellectual, stability and strength and force and the decisiveness to push you forward. Because I love the card that came last week, guys, is the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is all about, it's abundance, financial abundance, right? And investments and all the great stuff when it comes to prosperity. I don't like to use the word abundance because it's such a vague term, and everyone says, I want to be abundant. Like, we already are abundant. We have abundance of air, abundance of thought, abundance of light. We're abundant already, so let's choose where we're having some sort of lack in our lives, and let's choose to emphasize that, right? But I'm feeling like every idea that you guys have that you want to put into motion, every idea that you guys have to expand yourself and to put yourself into, into, I don't want to say work, but into being productive, those things will lead you to your financial abundance. Those ideas, the strength intellectually, the push, the redirecting and reconfiguring your life is what's going to lead you to financial abundance. Because if you're suffocated and you're suffocating yourself, you're suffocating your life right now, and you're being suffocated by things around you, that's not an energy that's going to attract abundance and freedom. We got to start projecting more freedom and projecting more of that, abundance that we say that we want in the way we say that we want it, right? Because that's what actually allows growth to take place, right? That's what allows, the inner self to realize more of what it needs and the more of the value that it has, right? And so a lot of you guys are leaving that to be like kind of like still a void, like I don't know, and so it's kind of like you're waiting for the unexpected when really it's not so unknown actually. What is unknown is just what you're not giving focus to that creates more, I would say, the direction of your future. Meaning that when you have this unknown of your direction and you're not looking within because you're so distracted by all these other things you're encumbering yourself with, when you remove those filters, then that unknown, the void, the unexpected becomes more known and expected for you about what's going to come into fruition. as for the last card, I just saw that was there in the last card too. So this is what you guys have to focus on this week. And every read is more about the week, and if I go into the month, I'll talk about that and such. But this week is about actually just choosing your battles. If I go be more simple about it, choosing your battles, and do you even want any battles? And that's the balance you have to bring into fruition when it comes to your overall, I would say, direction in life and what you want to take place into right now and moving forward in 2024, because it's gonna be a lot of movement, yada yada yada. So and so those of you, again, if you're not on par with this current that's going on collectively, things will amp up on difficulty until you start pushing yourself to accelerate. It's kind of like, your guide's pushing you, say, hurry up guys, let's go, hurry up, let's take off, it's like a push. So, I would say stop, and I love that the void is just sitting there to me. Stop keeping yourself in this void energy of uncertainty, because we are the ones that are defining everything that happens in our lives. We are the ones that are saying, this is what I deem to be valuable, this is what I deem to be not valuable. We are the ones that is saying, this is what I desire, this is what I believe is to be true and not to be true. We are the ones dictating all that. So to sit back in the void energy of the unknown does not create any movement. And a matter of fact, and at some point, like I said previously, something will force you to move if you don't, and that something is your soul. That something is your inner self, because your inner self is desiring to grow, is desiring to expand, is desiring to become more than what it is. Excuse me. And if we are preventing that, then guess what's going to happen? It's going to push us out of it. All right. So it's very important for you guys to understand, like, are you guys remaining stagnant? Are you stagnant and at pause simply because you're just putting so much burden on yourself and encumbering yourself with too many ideas and too many responsibilities? It's time to start clearing that out. It's spring cleaning time. Let's clean house, right? Let's start cleaning that house. Let's start getting rid of those things that are just stale. And so it's like, it's like a lingering fart. You can spray Febreze around all you want, right? For a while, it's going to smell all right, but it's just going to smell like a Febreze watered-down fart. Do you want that around? No. So clear the house out and get rid of, the things that just are stale. And that could be ideas, that could be options, that could be, relationships, also responsibilities or lack of responsibilities. Clear it out of your house, clear it out of your system, clear it out of your mind, and start getting that, pathway open for you. It's very simple, and the more I'm trying to be philosophical about it, Spirit's like, no, keep it simple, keep it simple. And I'm trying to want to go a little deeper, and Spirit's like, no, keep it simple. So I'm kind of like stepping over my toes on my own words, because Spirit just wants to keep it simple for you, to simplify. And I guess that makes sense, because if we have to declutter and take care of it, and release these burdens that we're carrying and responsibilities, that would require simplifying. So it's important to look at it that way. And I love how the moon card comes up kind of randomly too, because the moon card is all about kind of like hidden secrets. And this is not so much about, secrets as much as it is, getting what has been hidden for so long, bringing it to light, right? A lot of you guys, I've been talking to a lot of people lately too that have been caretaking parents. And, they feel suffocated, but they're afraid to get frustrated about it. They're afraid to be honest with themselves, to say, God damn it, I'm just so stressed out. This is pissing me off. I have no time for myself. They're afraid to say that because I got to be positive. I got to be positive. I love my parents. It's like, that's all right. But that energy within you has to be expressed. You can't push it in the corners of your mind and say, I'm frustrated about this, but I can't say that because I love my parents, trying to be positive. That doesn't do anything. All that energy within you has to be expressed. So if you're frustrated about something, bring it to light. Let all those frustrations come to articulate it, express it, let it have its air. Because guess what? Once you've expressed it, it will leave. It will bring you more knowledge and insight than what you need to move forward with it, or you'll just get rid of it. You'll just get rid of it. So, speaking about farts, if you hold a fart in, how's that going to be? So again, you don't want any intellectual or spiritual constipation. So I'm being crass for a reason, because, the brain remembers such stupid things. And so when I say something so crass, it will link you to the idea of, I do have to clear up the air in my life. I do have to clear up the home. I do have to, express what has been kind of lying dormant in my subconscious emotionally. So I stop carrying that anxiety, that anxious energy and the anxiety. I gave it a voice. I've expressed it. Now it's out. Now it's kind of like I'm not carrying it anymore. And then you can turn it into something new. You can turn it into something productive. And it'd be a lot easier for you to rearrange your thoughts too and your priorities. So that's very important to understand that intellectually. And so those of you guys who are heavily into law of attraction, well, if you guys are carrying all that burden and you're suffocated and entrenched in unknown and worry and responsibility, you're just going to be attracting more of the same, because that's all you're focusing on. Let's expand the focal point. All right. So that's a collective read, and I haven't had any sinus issues at all for like 2 weeks. I come sit down and now it's bothering me. I don't know if it's the lights and the fan on me, so I apologize if you hear me making that noise. Let me go and take a reading, a question. And who is up first? And then I'll answer some questions. Then we'll get into the topic. We'll get into the topic of, talking about defining evil in the 5D sense. A lot of people have questions about this, and karma, and evildoers, and yada yada yada. We want to talk about that and get more perspective on that. Okay. Who is first here? We have Stephanie. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, Stephanie's question is, I'm trying to understand how is it that our distance is affecting Ashley? And is he realizing I'm different than the rest of the women? And one card pull, please. Well, you should not be questioning what Ashley wants, Stephanie. You should not. You should not be questioning what Ashley wants. You should be questioning, the fact of why do you care about what he wants? Because, Ashley's all about convenience. And whatever's convenient for him is something he'll latch onto. What's not convenient to him, he'll kind of disconnect to. So you have to understand, you make yourself less convenient for him, he'll find more convenience, or in time that'll build up and like, what's going on? So the last conversation with him, I believe that, kind of pushed him off a bit, but then he's kind of snooping around. So I think I remember I told you he'll come around poking his nose, and he did again. So it's not so much that it's affecting him. He's kind of like dabbling in his situation, kind of inquisitive to himself, like what's really going on, but we'll connect again. So if anything, he likes the distance. He likes the distance in a sense because less responsibility for him. Okay. So, I think again, you just have to really kind of push that aside, and allow him to kind of realize, what he's missing or not missing, because not just with your situation, and his life overall is kind of in disarray to a certain degree. He thinks it's structured, but it's still kind of messy, because nothing really is really satisfying him the way it wants to satisfy him. So, if he has to work harder, he's not going to do it. That is the whole point of you walking away from him, is because you don't want any more of like pushing and taking so much responsibility for that. So it's irrelevant. It's not affecting him. He's in his mind. He's like, oh, well, we'll connect again sometime soon. And so he doesn't have to work for anything, and he's not going to work for anything. At this point, we changed that trajectory, and so, yeah. Let me pull some cards here, because you did a card pull too, so I want to see what that's saying. I feel like you're going to have two options this year. Like romantically or something, or not just romantically, but just like overall. This is kind of a general pull, because Two of Swords is all about like two conflicting ideas, or even just two options when this comes up. Six of Wands is all about something pushing you forward, being thrusted forward, excitement, new opportunities. So, I feel like there'll be two options for you that will launch you ahead and give you more opportunities this year. And of course, Three of Cups is all about celebration. So you're going to be celebrating a lot more. And I feel like that card is really coming through for career, and other partnerships. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is going to be a major year for you with career and finances in that way. You really have to really put Ashley on the back burner and just really stop poking at it intellectually and emotionally. That is not the only person in this planet that is available to you to give you emotional, investment, and more so not really giving you that much of it either. That is not the only person in this world that is actually available to give you any type of intimate needs. That's not the only person here. So why you keep overly considering this person is really depriving you of any type of other experiences, especially if you're not looking for anything majorly serious. Then there's more of that option out there than something that's very emotionally draining and taxing and selfish. So, so I put up louder for you, Daryl. So it's time to just really detach from that and get another, when the other option comes your way, go for it. But definitely a good year of career, and I would say career opportunities, as well as professional relationships building, and again, celebrations. So you might have a major achievement this year too with that. Is this person, Ashley, who is kind of wishy-washy, is that worth all that? Is that important compared to everything else? No. Just pluck him out of your mind, and let him work for his relationship now. Let him work for the dynamic now that he hasn't really done in the past. Let him work for these things to show that maybe he does give a damn, or if he doesn't, he doesn't. Let that be obvious. So Yeah, so that's that. Next is Carrie Johnson. What can I do to further my current relationship? How is my partner feeling about the relationship? Let's see. Things feel kind of like they've plateaued a little bit. I don't know if that, that makes sense. I feel like things kind of like, it's not like things are bad, but I wouldn't necessarily say things are great either. Things kind of feel like they're at a plateau to a certain degree. I think that has a lot to do. I feel like he is really uncertain about what he really wants to do overall in his life. Like, I feel like he has direction, but there's confusions about like how he wants to grow with his work. And so I feel like he's more kind of looking within personally as an individual, and less, I would say, about kind of like more focus on a relationship. That's not a bad thing, because I don't think that means he necessarily is not focusing on the relationship. I just feel like he's distracted with other things. And he feels very hard-headed to me as well. So there might be some Taurus somewhere in his chart somewhere. I just get kind of that, stubborn. When they're focused on something, they're hyper-focused on something. They kind of, maybe not look at, relationships when they are in a sense, or relationships might take a back seat. There might be some sort of a Taurus in there somewhere, but I don't think it's a long-term thing. I just think he needs to understand how to multitask and multi-focus when it comes to, his relationships. I mean, he has other, things that's important to him. So what you want to do is also focus on yourself too, and make sure that you're not depriving yourself of your own personal needs as well, and be very communicative about that. I just feel like he's stuck in a haze. He's got to be snapped out of that haze in a sense. But it's not that he doesn't want to be in a relationship or he's not considering a relationship. It's just so much other things. I feel like what we were saying in the beginning about being over encumbered by a lot, that's what I feel like he's doing right now. So what you can do is just keep being vocal and keeping, I would say, direct with him about like, hey, I know we got a lot going on, but let's pick one night a week where we actually do some, dating time and, something to spice us up as we're focusing on other endeavors. So then he can still, not have to pick or choose. You guys can set a time to break away, for each other. I think that might help, without overly pressuring him. I get the Taurus energy because you might have to say things maybe twice, 1 or 2 times to him, to get through. I think that he's not aware when he's being short. And so therefore, like, he might not be aware that if he's like kind of pulling back at the times he does, he might not be aware of that. And so maybe just kind of addressing it to them. But I feel like if you were tell him, I feel like he'd be open to understanding that. But I just don't think he's aware of the pulling back energy or being more focused on other things versus the relationship. He's not aware of it, so. Okay, hope that makes sense. And we had a PayPal one from Aaron Sullivan. Random card pull. Okay. For Aaron Sullivan. Well, Daryl, no one said Tauruses are stubborn. We're saying you're hard sometimes. And like I said, like people say Aquarians are flighty. We're not all flighty, but we can be, right? But it's just different characteristics that we have. I'm saying that sometimes Tauruses get wrapped up in their own things, that sometimes they're not aware of what's going on around them when it comes to other people. It's in that mode. It's in those moments, and so, like I said, once it's addressed, and I believe this is true with a lot of my Taurus friends too, when you address something with them, they're like, okay, yeah, I didn't realize it. They're open, so no, there's no indication or I would say insinuation that Tauruses are stubborn in a sense, but I think we all have our sense of stubbornness. But Taurus is going to be hard-headed. That's why it's the bull. That's why it's a bull in China shop. Sometimes you guys can be thick in what you're in. You're so stupid. No, I'm not stubborn. I'll never be stubborn. No! Yeah, you're not stubborn. So, yeah, no. Okay, this is for, as this thing just logged me out, this is for Aaron Sullivan, card pull. Let's see. Thank you. Aaron Rose. You deserve a rose. Okay, the car's a little sticky, so maybe we need to tell you to loosen up a little bit. But that's general. We want to get more specific here. Okay, that's good. I'm like, whew, got something good here. I know you're playing with me, but I also wanted to make sure that others in the room were Tauruses didn't take me that way either. So, you know, other people can. Chris and I did like signs, like 12 signs of love or whatever. Summer of Love. We did 12 signs, and so one woman, I forget what sign it was, but there was something that we said about that sign kind of being, you know, somewhat, you know, in ego and getting out of ego. And this woman left comments, so it was like, well, we're not an ego, you guys are psycho, I'm not an ego. Like multiple comments are like, I'm like, well, kind of proving our point there. So okay, so this is for Aaron. You know, this is interesting. Ace of Wands, because this is a card pull. You know, if it wasn't a card pull, I'd be using my psychic abilities. But, you know, Ace of Wands, you know, they're saying there's a lot of creativity that needs to be harnessed within you, right? And it doesn't have to be a career. A lot of times we just need to be creative, period. Where's this pulling me with creativity, though? You know what they're saying? They want you to be creative with, here's a space thing again. I think they want you to rearrange your space at home. Get in control of, you know, the space, your environment. Be creative with your own environment right now. Get that flow going. They want you to kind of understand how your mind works by doing that. It's almost like a good practice to get yourself to see how your mind works again, especially getting the creative flow going there. And, you know, there might be also possibly in the next 5 to 6 months or within that time frame, there might be a legal issue. And so something you might have to deal with some sort of legality. It obviously feels financial. Most of the legalities I find are financial. So there might be some legal thing. It doesn't feel heavy to me. Feels like almost like a resolve because, you know, it's in the upright position. So it feels very clean to me about bringing that kind of justice to a situation legally that you need. Because then, of course, the Eight of Wands, or excuse me, Eight of Swords is, you know, coming up in the final position, which says you'll have all the resources that you need. You'll be getting what you need from the situation. So right now they're saying be creative, arrange your space, get your flow, see how your mind works in the creative space too. And sometime this year there'll be some sort of legality you have to deal with that will be very easy, money related, that'll be in your favor, and you'll have all the resources that you need for that. Okay? And so it's something to be scared of. Actually, it might be something that will really massively benefit you, actually. So, so for now, just be creative. Tap into your creative juices, as general as that sounds. I think there's going to be more for your essence as you get into that space of creating your spaces and just rearranging things around you. That's more indicative of your own being and your personality. That's more emotional sector, but the second half is more predictive about a legal issue that will work in your favor. You'll get the resource and have the resources that you need. So, okay, divorce in process. Well, there you go. So I feel that will work the way you need it to work, and I feel like also it will be you'll have the resources that you need to, you know, bring that justice and balance into play this year. Okay, so I feel like it feels light to me. It doesn't feel like a drag. It doesn't feel like fight or opposition. It just feels like, you know, a litigation. You know, a healthy litigation. So I think that's wonderful. I think that's probably what you need to hear too. Like, be creative now, let your creative energy, personality come out, and then, you know, now that you're going to this divorce, this legality that I felt. I was going to say marriage and divorce, but it felt more about the finances for me on that, so that's why I focused on that. But if you're with me in person, I'm sure it all would came out. But it just feels like it's going to go smooth for you. I don't feel like much of a drama with it, you know. So I think that's a good result of that, I would say. I was gonna say a good read, but I don't want to, like, you know, fluff myself up. It's a good read in the sense of the information is good on that. Okay. Oh, so I know just the next in the chat is Rashida, and then I'm gonna get into the topic of 5D and take a break at that. Rashida, can you tell me about my sister's ailment and if this is a serious matter? Question 1. Let's start there. I'm not really. What am I sensing with this? It feels temporary for me. it doesn't feel, and this is again for Rashida's question, it feels temporary. It doesn't really feel, I kind of feel like it's being made out to be bigger than what it is, because I'm like, I don't really see anything, right? Yeah, I'm looking like, why I don't really see anything. It's almost like there's just like a buildup of emotion, a buildup of I don't know. I think that it's not all that it's being presented to be. So it might appear to be less than what it is. That's the energy I'm getting. So if it's like, if it's a lump, it's not cancerous. Or if it was cancerous, it's easy and done. Like I'm just getting these weird generalities with this. So almost like I can, maybe because she's not here and I'm just reading a text, so I don't have a close connection to read. But to me, the initial thing is it's not what it seems to be, and it's being amplified more of what it is. And so there's like a simple resolve on it. You know, I almost feel like, you know, there's a lot of false misinformation on this. You know, but the one specific you're talking about, my love, I'm just gonna kind of say this. I think your sister's amplifying all these little things. That's what I feel like, my love. And so she has, you know, emotional issues that cause her to be sick, but then she drags out the sicknesses, and so I think she really kind of. I don't want to be disrespectful on this, but I really feel there's a slight hypochondriac to a lot of these things. Not to say she's not experiencing anything, but when someone gets sick, some people get comfortable being sick, so they prolong sickness and illness. I just feel there's an emotional issue there with your sister. And I think a lot of these other things, here's another new thing, but where's this coming from? Why? You know, where's this stemming from? So to me, she feels like I said, a hypochondriac, and a lot of this says, oh, here's another thing, she amps it up. And that's why I'm like, it's just results of her emotional deprivation and emotional turmoil. So she creates these things and it over exasperates them. So, oh, thank God you said that. Thank God you said that, because you know, it's a big claim to say something like that, but I'm glad you said that, because I get a lot of that, my love. And some people will overextend an illness and drag it out. To me, she's got emotional need of attention. And an emotional need of like not having to take responsibility for herself. So therefore, I can't take responsibility for myself because I'm sick. I'm sick. I can't take I can't do anything. I don't feel good. I can't. I got something new. I can't do this now. I can't take care of myself now because now I have another problem. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank God. Because I was feeling crazy by saying this, Rashida. Because I'm like, it seems all built up to me. You know, so maybe you have to start giving her some tough love. You know, people need to start giving her tough love. I think people are just feeding her what she wants with this hypochondria and feeling sad. And it just worked. It's worked for her for so long that now she's like, hey, I need more attention. Hey, I have another ailment now. And yes, again, a lot of these things could be measured physically because she's putting emotional stress on herself and she'll go with it. But it's being created within. You know. Good, because, you know, that stuff, when I get responses like that, I get uncomfortable as a human with that information. Because, like, that's a lot for me to express. But, you know, thank you for the confirmation, because it was tough to say that blindly on a live. You know, one-on-one it's better, but... Okay, question 2. Your question is, will my son overcome his more pressing problem soon? Yeah, I mean, I feel like he is... It's like he's in opposition of himself. Overly questioning himself. And so it's just a confidence thing to me. You know, a confidence issue. You know, and, you know, how he's communicating, connecting with others. It kind of feels that way to me. And so, you know, I think, again, that... I really think that your son is going to get past this. It just feels temporary. It feels like a typical like confidence issue, questioning himself, trying to relate to other people, that type of situation, right? Not having communication with dad. So I feel like there's some sort of issue with his father that I feel like is kind of, you know, putting some pressure on him. So it feels like a growing experience for him. It feels like something he's going to learn how to grow from. That's how it feels for me. You know? And so I think that, you know, the more you continue your stability, let him vocalize. I feel like, you know, he's good at letting things out and communicating, but sometimes he's not. So I think just helping him to communicate more, and communicate more with what he's feeling can help. You know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that to me is the where it derives from, and how he's unable to express himself to communicate with others. That's what reads to me. So again, thank you for confirming that too. So just let him express himself. Let him know. Let him process things. For you. Like, question him a lot about how he feels and what he thinks about and all that stuff. Like, give him that sense of questioning in that sense, so he can figure things out and help guide him through that questioning, so he can realize how he feels and what he wants. That'll help him be more expressive. So right now it feels like it's a communication issue, how he's dealing with people and stuff like that nature, Okay, let me get to the topic really quick, because I put the topics in there, and so I want to make sure I put that in there as well. Before I get into more reads. So, evil in 5D perspective. Now, we know what it's like in 3D, right? Evil in 3D is very much simplistic. We know that someone shoots someone, is a predator. That's evil. Like, that's horrible. Like, we should never do that. We should never want that. That is true, because we're in a position where we're evolving so much spiritually. We have so much empathy that we are starting to realize on the spiritual level that those paradigms don't need to be in our future worlds, don't need to be in our future experiences, as we're evolving from a very carnal, primitive type of consciousness to more about collective and spiritual and love and united energy and expression and empathy. We're evolving from that. So yes, in the physical sense, all those things are evil. But in a 5D sense, looking down as a spiritual perspective, it's necessary. So when we look from a 5D perspective, we don't look at murder, all these, I would say, treacherous things we define evil in the physical sense. We don't see that as evil in 5D. What we see that is as a necessary component and actually necessary parameters of soul growth and evolution. And so a lot of people say, well, Scott, how can you say that? A child is being abused. And I would say we all have a karmic cycle. We all have a karmic path that we're following, and we all are I don't want to use the word attracting, but we all are experiencing things that are, I would say, relevant to our karmic lesson and our karmic growth and journey. And so I always like to say, when we flip up, is it breaking up? Is it still doing it, guys? Okay, is it breaking up now? Okay, how's the lag now? And where did I leave off? Let's wait till the lag to clear, because I don't want it to get in the way of this. Is the lag better, guys? Or is it still laggy? Because I'll wait until this. I want this segment to get through without lag. And Ali, what's the wow about? The lag or what I said? Okay, I'm just waiting to see what the lag is. Okay, can someone tell me, where did it like chop up and where did it leave now? Where are you guys now, and kind of what is it, Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, good. Okay, shall we start over? Because that happens. I have latency at mid-level, so sometimes if the YouTube server is screwy, it's going to lag behind. But okay. Still frozen? Okay, good. So, I'll just start over. We define evil in the physical sense as someone doing something wrong, right? And someone doing something very treacherous, a predator, a murder. We say that's evil in the physical sense, in 3D world. And that's true, it is evil. That's because we as spirits have evolved. We've evolved from that. We understand it's all about love, expansion, empathy. As we've grown the soul, our empathy has extremely, extremely expanded. And so we're not going to relate to those primitive and carnal type of experiences because we've evolved so much from that. And what we want in our next experience, in our next world, is more empathy, more love, more communion, right? More collective energy, more expressive, creative expressions and expansions, right? So of course, yes, in our perspective, in the 3D sense, all those things are evil. But when we step into the 5D perspective and look at a broader point of view, those things are not evil. They're necessary. They're necessary for spiritual growth. They are necessary for the soul evolution. And so a lot of people say, well, Scott, how can you say that? A child is being abused or a child is being murdered. How is that, not evil? When you understand that we all have a karmic path and we all have a karmic journey, and the soul has been to so many different experiences, everything that's experienced is in alignment or part of the karmic lesson or the karmic story. So, for example, that child that might have been murdered or been killed in the 3D sense could have actually been a child killer in that previous life and needs to experience what it's like to be murdered as a child to understand what that empathy is. You see, when you look at it from a context, many people say, oh yeah, well, I don't care about that. Or there was a viral video going around about, I think it was called like Ghost Rider or something like that. It's very grotesque. And this guy was lit on fire. And people were like, that's horrible. But then we found out that he was actually lit on fire because he killed people the same way. People were like, oh, good, he deserved it. It wasn't like, oh, that's evil what they did to him. Like, oh, good, he deserved it. He killed people. So it's funny that we kind of change our tone when we realize someone who's done something bad deserves something bad. We change our tone in the physical sense, but the same is somewhat true in the spiritual sense too, because we don't know the incarnations that have what they have done in the previous lifetimes. We don't know what karmic story they are living and where they're coming from the previous incarnations. We don't know. We're just saying that's an evil action. Oh, I don't like it. But in the 5D sense, we see exactly why it's being experienced that way and how the soul is evolving. And as I said before, there might be a child being abused, but yet again, that soul, that child being abused, was a child abuser in the previous lifetime and is experiencing that karma in that fashion to gain empathy. There's so many different variables where that happens. And so you still want to look at these things evil in a sense of our 3D perspective so we know where we're evolving. But I'm saying in the spiritual sense, we also have to understand it is all necessary for growth. Otherwise, our Creator would not allow it. And if our Creator is allowing it, then we'll call our Creator evil too? Just enjoy suffering? No, of course not. It all has to exist. Everything exists but non-existence. But we knew that. Coming in here, we are masters of limitation. We knew incarnating into this physical world, we knew that we would actually be up against this, I would say, a diverse energy, this large spectrum of massive evil and massive good. We knew that. But where we're at, if we think of that spectrum, we might be here at the higher end of the spectrum when it comes to evolution, that we might be this lifetime or maybe a few lifetimes away from evolving out of planet Earth into a higher dimensional planetary reality or even a higher dimension, that we can't look back and look at people who are still progressing in earlier, I would say, smaller levels or lower levels of spiritual experiences or soul experiences. We can't look down on that. We can't judge it. We cannot judge that. Because when we judge that, we're judging ourselves. We cannot judge ourselves in the sense of, that everything can exist, but that can't exist. We're actually end up judging ourselves and putting ourselves through limitation by saying that, I guess, only I can exist what I feel is needs to exist in reality, in existence. We kind of limit ourselves by that and not allow ourselves to continue that growth on the soul level. So a lot of people say, well, where is God through these things? There is no God because all these things, bad things happen. It's like, that's the exact opposite what's happening here, especially the things that we're choosing to learn in this physical world. We all chose to have these limited experiences. And so I want you guys to understand that when you start seeing things from a 5D perspective, you understand how everything is really in sync, how everything is very necessary. You become less judgmental, more accepting, and allowing yourself to utilize the tools that 3D life and 3D world has to offer you. And thus expanding your 5D perspective. 5D, when people say 5D Earth, it's just a perspective. It's broadening your point of view to see things for what they really are, from a higher perspective. So again, you still want to clutch onto what you believe is evil in this physical world, in the physical expression, so understand where you stand and give yourself the leverage of how you feel about those things and what you desire to expand into. That's the direction you're going to be to elevate out of 3D reality. In either the next incarnation or the few after that. So keep yourselves aware of that and understanding how things are really kind of connected and really in perfect harmony, even though it has that yin-yang energy, that positive and extreme negative energy, it's still in harmony. And everything is connecting in a very perfect fashion. Because everything is connected. Okay? What is the purpose of having that type of knowledge or insight? It allows you to know why you're here in the physical earth and allows you to understand your soul choice and where your soul really derives from and where it's really going. That's what helps. And you start seeing life in a different fashion. You stop trying to fight against things instead of trying to uplift and heal things. And you try to stop fighting against things and damning things and condemning things instead of nurturing and giving your positive touch to things and your loving touch to things. That's how. Okay, so let's go back to readings. Anybody have any questions or feedback on that? Being that I know it could be a very, very sketchy topic, but I think you guys, you know, had to catch up and all that. Yeah, because I feel like I got corrected even when I said maternal. I heard no. I was like a harsh like slap in my face. Give me a couple seconds. Let me tune in here and see if I can reach her. Okay. Well, she's pretty loud to me, so she's kind of like, well, I'm here. So she definitely has a very in-your-face personality. I will say this, and kind of funny because I was kind of like getting ready to tune in. I'm like, is it maternal? Who should I reach for? And she's like slapping me. So obviously she's like, duh. So she's definitely connected with you 100%. I think the message she wants to say to you is that I feel like she's been knocking at your door, both figuratively and also literally. She's trying to push you to like make a decision on something very important with your career. And I think it has a lot to do with, she's saying teaching to a certain degree, not like a teacher, but I think you need to be teaching people something. And I think this will come about this year. She says you're really good at inspiring people to make change or inspire people to become more of themselves. And she's like, I really want you to shine in that essence, and kind of really guide people in a certain direction, that can help them. The expression could be what you want it to be, but she feels like she wants you to carry on that tradition of being like a matriarch and carry on that tradition of being insightful. I mean, she feels like she also had this kind of leadership energy too, or at least help people, guide people in that way too. And she's like, that's where she wants you to start carrying. I don't know. I don't know if I'm hearing myrtle or turtle, so I'm just I'll throw that out to you. I'm not really sure what she's saying. I'll make a note of this. I don't know if there's a significance of the name myrtle or there's a turtle reference of something, so I'd write that down because that might come out after the session, but I'm not going to spend too much time trying to decipher that. I heard it 3 times, so I'm like, it must mean something. You'll probably make sense of it later. But I think the most important thing is understanding that, you have a lot of... She's calling someone a bastard. I don't know. I don't know if this is playful, but I feel like there's a energy around you, male energy. She's saying that needs to kind of like shape up or get out type of thing. I think you might be considering a male energy around you or giving too much credit. It doesn't feel like a lover to me. It just feel like someone around that I think is holding you down with a repressive energy. And I feel like she's just saying they got to go. Like they're being too heavy for you. It could be a business relationship or just someone. It doesn't feel like it's a lover though, but someone I think it's putting too much strain on you around you that needs to be cleared out. And I think that it's somebody that might also be connected with work or might come up soon, to you, and just making sure you're keeping that path where that's not that tension. I feel like she's here to try to make sure that your path is clear. She's here to make sure that you're actually going on the right path. She's here to make sure that you actually are making sure that you're allowing yourself to carry on the essence of who you are, that you can actually inspire people and not having people interfering with that energy or slowing you down. Because it might be that, you have people around you that you consider that, but they're hogging your space up too much and you don't realize that because they're not being malicious, but she wants to be more conscious of that. So you can be more free-flowing with your relationships and free-flowing with what your agenda is moving forward. I really feel like she's saying you're going to be teaching people or guiding people or leading people. And that leading part is very important to me too, because it seems more like a spiritual essence of that, and more like a calling that might be unfold for you at some point this year, like a realization for that. And so not that I'm saying it's a career, I mean, it could be, but it's just more like a calling that you feel led to do that will kind of complete your life in a sense. But again, she keeps saying this myrtle or turtle reference. I don't know if that's regarding you or it feels comical or some sort of symbol. Maybe someone in your family understands that reference. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting very generally speaking from her. She's coming more emotional for me and more like wanting to push you. That's how she's coming through. She's not trying to play magician. She's not trying to be like flashy. It's not her style. But yeah, and she's saying... did she leave you with something? She kept saying I left her with something. I don't know if it's something of hers that's left behind, of something of value with you or her mom, your mom or something she's left behind that's important. Do you understand this? And she's also like a piece of jewelry or a bead or something. I don't know the significance of this. Like it almost, I want to say it looks like a pearl, but I don't want to say it's a pearl, but some sort of significance of a necklace. I feel like she's left behind or has been carried on. Maybe your mom knows that.
Huh. I could ask my mom about it. I know she left a bunch of brooches.
It's a jewelry piece. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just like, she's showing like something beaded. So I don't know. It's how I'm bad with jewelry. So forgive me on this, but she's saying there's some significance of that behind and she's kind of referencing.
Okay. How do I know that she's trying to tell me something? Like what would I know as her? She's trying to come through to me.
Are you saying to you personally, or you're asking for her to say something now? Because it's really about your openness to that.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, like, if some people will see a cardinal and say, oh, that's my grandma. Or some people will say, oh, there's this. And how will I know that if something. I don't know if I'm asking the
No,
question.
no. You're asking a question. This is kind of what I speak about on my lives a lot of times too. Is that a lot of times we actually create the manifestations. It's not actually spirit. So your grandma for me comes more with a scent and like a floral scent. That's what she says to me. And so every other thing to me feels like it's like a physical manifestation that you connect with her spirit. That's one thing I, as a medium, I'm very clear about. Sometimes they will show, a certain animal creature, something like that. That's very generic. That's why does every spirit send a butterfly? But there's some sort of connection with that we create, right? Your grandma said it's more about feeling for her and audibles and the noises. And like you said, she makes knockings and she also shows up with a floral scent, some sort of essence of a floral scent. She showed even like the lavender color and the lavender flowers and liking that essence of that and the lavender scents. That's what she's saying. She connects with herself. But when you're making your own subconscious manifestations, well, you're also connecting with that too. You'll feel a presence. But for me, she's very audible. So, I think that you might hear her voice. You might even, hear her in a dream in a sense. It's more that way she kind of presents her spirit. She's not the magician to me of like, I'm going to be doing all these fancy things, she might connect with you as you're manifesting them. But to me, it's a scent. It's a lavender, very floral, experience for me is what I think she really comes with her spirit and manifests in that sense. She
was the matriarch in our family, and she could see things in her sleep. She could see things.
Yeah.
But she was very much a woman of God. So it's just very interesting. It was always sort of like confusing to me, but she would preach one way and it would be sort of both. And so it seemed like this duality going on. And I'm like, what's real?
Yeah, I mean, that's why when I'm getting her, she's like wants to push. She doesn't play the magician game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting here through a medium. Like, I just don't get that with her. I love being the magician like a medium, like throwing these facts and validate. She's just not like that. She won't do that through me. She's like, I'm pushing my essence of what I want for her. She needs to be teaching, inspiring, and leading, and that's it. And you might even get a lavender connection to her, a scent of that sense right after the session, and some sort of floral-like experience. That's what she comes with. I don't feel like she's really much dabbling within physical reality. I just don't feel that with her.
Okay.
I don't think she's connecting much with the physical world. So what you can do, I mean, now we have her. I say, well, Grandma, come with her in a dream state. You'll let her kind of like confirm, with her, that your presence is near. Because with her, she'll be more telepathic and I would say more claircognizant. You'll feel her. And again, the scent thing kind of is like the manifestation of the feeling sense. But that's really how I feel like her presence comes to me, and more emotional, very push. Not like I'm just here to kind of like, appease your belief system, and she just wants to push.
Yeah, that's totally her. Yeah, she's totally like in your face. Like
it's I don't like it as a medium. I don't like that because I'm like, well, I'm a medium. I got to prove that the validation, all this stuff, and it's like she just doesn't want to do that, And so I think if you were sat her down in person, she wouldn't play that game in person either.
He wouldn't, and it sounds like her, so she don't play.
So, but I think, to me, the message is more important about like getting yourself to inspire and to lead and to guide people in a sense, and just finding that outlet for that. That's, I would say, even as a psychic reading that, I'm like, that's really important because I think there's a calling for you to do that. It's not like it's a change of career, but just in a sense, you're doing this on the side and developing that type of energy. We're expressing that empathy. That's really important for you to do that. And she's concurring with that because she wants you to make change. And I think you will. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be a paradigm shift. And I feel like that's where she's kind of like helping you keep that straight path. She says a straight and narrow path in a sense, in her mind, but I think it's kind of making sure that there is no one interfering. And whatever this male energy is, and it's funny, I just see the Knight of Swords kind of sitting there. The Knight of Swords represents a man to me that could be very charming, but also very vindictive at sometimes and emotionally controlling. So there might be a male energy around you that might be that way that you will have to maneuver away from. It feels work or someone external from your current family, but it's almost like she's kind of warning you of this person.
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
So just be aware, and you'll know because she'll probably nudge you, telepathically, and you'll be like, okay, no, I'm not doing dealings or business with this person, or wherever the case is.
Okay.
Any questions you want to ask her though? I wanted to kind of get more like before we close this down, but any specific questions for her that you want to ask her directly?
Oh my gosh, that's like. I didn't realize you were going to ask me that question.
Well, I want to get some specific from her. She's too vague for me. I want to be specific. I like specifics. I don't like generalities. Even though it may represent her personality, I want some specific information. So maybe that'll help her to be, more specific if you ask her a question.
Yeah. Wait, I mean, is it too specific to ask her favorite perfume?
You're asking the wrong person, but I'll try to see if she can match the scent for me because I'm bad with perfumes. That's probably the florals. That's why she says she comes in a scent, right? So that's probably
She does. She totally does.
Okay, so that's her manifestation then, my love. She comes a scent. For me, it might be floral to me, right? And so that's just I don't know flowers or scents like that. So to me, it's like it appears to be floral.
I have a question for you. I have a question. What does she think about the changes my dad has made? So with their house.
I was gonna say, is it a house? Don't tell me anything, please. Don't give me anything.
Okay.
We'll see what he's done. Yeah, because she didn't give me much specifics. I'm like, I want to try to get as much as I possibly can. She's like, the face she gives me is kind of like. She's like, oh, my son always has his way about going through things. So she's kind of laughing that your dad might have been clumsy with this project. I don't know. She's kind of saying like he kind of was a little clumsy with it in the sense of, but trying to get control of it, but he was in control of it. So she's like, I'm giving him crap, but she's like, it's fine. It's good. You know, the whatever addition, I think there's an addition created or some sort of change that extended something. She's saying it's good. It was needed. But my son's a little clumsy on things, so I don't know if you would see this, how she's defining his clumsiness, but she's saying he can be kind of clumsy when it comes to making decisions like that, but it all worked out in the end. One suggestion, she's saying, I don't know if it's like part of the extension or back ear needs a couple steps or some steps need to be fixed or replaced. Something with steps need to be fixed or needs to be addressed, she's saying. So it's something he might know about. Some issue with a step or some step needs to be replaced. She's saying, get the step fixed is all she's saying. I hear him saying.
Okay.
Get the steps fixed. There might be a crack or something or a loose step. Okay? And I think that, you know, your dad might understand or uncover that there's a step loose or the one's cracked. We got to replace it. She's just saying that, you know, as well.
Okay. Right.
But she's saying everything was done well, you know, extended or, you know, the addition extended or gave more energy to the addition or whatever the case is. It wasn't just a redo. It was actually a whole different space or addition. She's saying that it was needed. She's like, I don't, you know, not my choice, which is why she's like, but she understands it. And was this her house too? Or did she like, you know, why does she have connection to this house?
She lived in it.
Okay, that's probably why I'm getting a strong opinion on it. Yeah, because, yeah. Hold on a second.
It was their family house, and then
I've seen that, but she's trying to say something about her passing to. Did they want her to pass at home? Were they trying to get her to be passing at home? Were they trying to do that? To connect her passing at home? Because I feel like they were trying to get her to pass at home, but she, you know, either it didn't happen, but, you know, I feel like she's okay with that not coming to fruition in a sense. And I just think she's saying, like, you know, there was some hesitation about her. I wanted to pass her. I wanted to be at the house, but she wasn't, and it's okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah, all those things are true.
So she's like, she's quite fine. I'm not that picky, even though I appear to be very picky. I'm not that picky, she says.
But she is.
But you know, but that's the sarcasm I put behind that, because I'm like, yeah, right, because like you're picky, but you're not picky. But she just wants you to know her passing was extremely comfortable for her. Okay, that she wasn't really uncomfortable. She's like, I was being a little picky, yes, in my passing and stuff, but I just want everyone to know I really appreciate how they've handled my passing. I really appreciate how they, you know, were there for me and cared for me, and actually were kind of, you know, kissing my ass. She says. So.
They always were. They always were. Yeah.
I'm like, so she can understand that, right? And she's also saying to me as well, did someone write a note for her? Because she's saying, I got the note, either before passing or after passing. Someone in the family wrote her a note. Like it looks like he's seeing like a scratch note or something. She's saying, I got the note. So ask a family member if they wrote a note for her after she passed.
Okay.
Because she's saying, I got the note. It might have been your dad. It feels like a male energy, so it might have been your dad.
Okay.
Because they wrote a note or tucked it somewhere. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
But she got it after she passed?
She's saying, I got it after she passed. Yeah, that's the thing. I got the note, like, after she passed. Because I think it might have wrote it to send her something, and, you know, like a note of, I love you, or something of that nature. And she showed me someone kind of folding this note, writing it, folding it, and then putting it aside with her, and then after her passing, you know, she's saying, I got it, I read it, thank you. But it feels like it could be your dad or the male energy of the family. I just see a male with that. I wish she could be more clear on it, trying to zoom in. But yeah. And, you know, I think, you know, people still feel her presence in the house, though. Some people say they feel her presence in the house. So, that might be your dad also might be saying he might have saw, his mom and saw or felt something. He probably wouldn't admit it because I feel like your dad would like, push those things away. But, she's making her presence kind of known there. Like, again, it's a feeling presence with her. And maybe there's knocking. She's been knocking or something. So you might want to ask a family member about that knocking too, because she's saying that again.
Okay.
It might be scaring the hell out of your dad because your dad probably wouldn't want to admit to anything like that. She might be like, your dad's like, what is that? Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. I feel like she's trying to get your dad's attention.
Okay. I wonder what she's trying to tell him. But that's for another time.
She's just trying to connect with him, just so he knows she's with her, that she's with him. Excuse me. But I just think he's being like he doesn't want to tap into that. Like he's like either not believing in that space or doesn't want to. He's freaked out by it, so he's kind of pushing it away. That's what she's kind of saying. He's kind of like shutting it down in a sense.
Okay.
More maybe because out of fear, not so much about like I don't believe in it. Maybe he does, but it's untouched territory. You know what I mean? That's what I get with him.
Thanks, Scott.
But, she loves you, though. Again, you'll feel her, that scent. So I'm glad you confirmed that. Because I'm like, what's the scent that she's saying? But, and she likes the color lavender and the smell of lavender, too. So lavender could be a essential oil you can use to bring her spirit in as well. I think the cologne or perfume, if I were to define that, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like, gardenia smell with vanilla. I couldn't tell you. I'm so bad.
It is. It totally is, Scott.
Okay.
It totally is.
Because I don't know how else to describe that. Because I just got more of a white tint when it comes to smell of that. You know what I mean? But she likes lavender for her spirit, essence of that.
Okay.
All right. She loves you. Any other questions for me or her before we close?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Much
Your grandma goes,
appreciated.
you are good. She thinks you're very strong, and she says, you're becoming more of a matriarch yourself, so she's kind of passing the torch to you.
Oh, I'll accept.
All right, my love, it was a pleasure. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Be well. Thank you.
You too. Blessings. That was a good example of a first read. Let me clear this overlay because there's a lot of things there. Two. And it's also good, I would say, reflection that sometimes, spirit has their different ways of going about things. And as a medium, I'm very much in my head because I'm like, I have to prove all these specific things. And sometimes spirit's like, I have a mess, I have an agenda. And so, try when you are having mediumship sessions where it is more in that emotional vein, try to understand if that's really their personality coming through. So you understand we actually do have them. And how they would really act in a situation like that. Because I have many personalities that are resistant or really religious, and they don't want to like buy into this format. And I've had a lot of that, and it can be very challenging as a medium because I'm like, oh my god, we just pull and just But if you understand that's how they were in the physical sense, then you understand it really is them giving that message. So, so it was great. I appreciate what was her name that came through. I'm sorry, I just missed the name. Kelly for being the first live reading on YouTube. As you all know, I was doing them a lot on Instagram. Okay, let's see. Oh, for Ali, we have a card pull. Yeah. This is for Ali. Continue on. God, her grandma was a funny energy to me though. She was like pushing me, slapping me, like, come on, it's me. Like she was so like playfully though, but it was just so like she was just so pushy. It was such a pushy energy. And it's like she wanted to go by her rules, not my rules. So I'm like, okay, this is how I want to do it. She's like, no, this is how I want to do it. So if you're listening, Kelly, that's what was my experience with that. I have my rules, how I like to format my sessions. Your grandma was like, no, we're going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm like, ugh, great. Put me on the spot, right? And let me tell you something, guys. That is not something I'm used to. I never met my mom's mom. She passed when it was early, and I was estranged from my grandparents. So I don't know what it's like. It's not normal for me to have grandparents that were close. So I know a lot of people maybe generalize that. That's not general common for me. I didn't have a relationship with my grandparents. And, my paternal grandparents were quite distant and, very, mean in a sense. So I didn't know them very well. And they were overly religious and just not great people in a big spectrum. So it's not normal for me to have a close dynamic to a grandparent. I don't know what that's like. So when I see you guys having close ties to your grandparents, it feels almost fake to me because I'm like, you're that close to a grandparent? Like, so I get it, but I'm not experienced in that, just so you know. So that wouldn't be something I would generalize for me, especially a pushy grandparent like that. Okay, this is for Allie. Still shuffling for you, Allie. Okay, did you get rid of that council? I don't remember, Allie, because this is to me indicative of somebody leaving. So like it feels legal. So Ace of Swords reversed. Someone was not a good representation or force for you to work with, and the Knight of Cups someone is. So there should be a new energy to help you legally with a legal endeavor. This person will be charismatic, will be more relaxed, more laid back for you. So make sure you're paying attention to that. So it does feel like a male energy, you know. So pay attention to that too. If you were considering a female, they're saying, yeah. So if maybe you have two options right now. Maybe like, is this female person going to help me or the male energy of the legal counsel? They're saying it's the male energy if you had to pick between the male and the female energy or options you might have right now. So they're saying go with the female energy. Okay. And then, of course, then the Knight of Cups is someone who's charming, laid back, you know. So that would be someone who's more in alignment to what you need. Because this other person, there's almost shown you either got rid of the other person or he's on the way out. You're like, you're severed him with the sword. You're like, you know, you severed him. So I think that you're on the right path when it comes to the next legal counsel. Okay. So that's a good confirmation for you, Allie. Kelly, if you're still listening, your grandmother's still chiming in with this Myrtle turtle thing. Please, I don't know. Your grandma's still like tell me to look at that thing, that Myrtle turtle thing reference, and email me about this because she keeps saying this Myrtle turtle. I don't know what the hell it is, but she keeps telling me it's some significance. I have no clue if I'm even hearing it correctly. All right, Erica Moody. I mean, if I was going to pull something out of my ass, it would not be that. I will tell you guys, if I was pulling things out of my ass, it would not be these things. I would tell you. I'd be a little more creative than this. Or, I don't know what to say. Yeah, are you asking me? You don't asking me what? Yeah, no, we're saying you'll find the person. The person will be in. You'll find the right person, Allie. Oh, yes, sir, Erica, sorry. Erica Emoti. What does Spirit say about my ongoing red eye issue? I put clean drops in, but I can't seem to shake the issue. No itching, no burning. What is the red eye issue? Right for me. They're saying the eye issue. Okay, thank you. Emoti. What did I say? How did I say it? Emoti? I don't know. Emodium? Emoti. I'll just say Erica. They're giving me there's a bit of eye strain, but there is an allergic reaction still to this. But it still feels like eye strain as well, but also allergies. So it feels like kind of both. It doesn't feel bacterial though, because then I would recommend colloidal silver. But yeah, it feels like eye strain and like pressure behind the eye, right? And also something allergies. So there might be allergies that's like inflamed that's causing pressure behind the eye. You know, it reads like that to me. What did I say? What did I miss? You guys are saying, "Oh my God," and laughing. What just happened? Someone type it in there for me. But that's what I feel, Erica. It's more like an allergy causing pressure behind the eye. And in red, you know what I'm saying? And then kind of like a eye strain. So, and it feels a little like dry eye too. So, So maybe what you want to do is maybe put some like a cold compress on your eyes, right? And do something for more like for a dry eye, like maybe just blink your eyes more to get more, the drops wouldn't do anything, but do more blinking on the eyes to get more of that strain. So there's a strain behind it, but also it's causing dryness and strain, So when I say behind the eyes, it's like a strain because it'd be allergic pressure. You know what I mean? That's what I get on that. Well, I'm kind of telling you. You wonder, right? You wonder, but I'm saying if you put a cold compress and practice that a little bit, and you alleviate the allergy, and then I see the eye strain, and then of course causing dry eye, then that would kind of alleviate the whole thing, and then you could allow the tear duct to be cleared, because I think actually the tear duct might be actually what's kind of blocked out from the allergy and the pressure. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a sinus or allergy of pressure, and it's kind of blocking the tear ducts, and it's causing some eye strain, and then it's dry. That's how they're showing, leading it to me in that sense. No, don't. Again, you have to. There's something pressure behind it. So try to do cold compresses. They're saying, right? And and try to blink your eyes more like this, and try to do as less you can to alleviate that pressure. You know what I mean? I would start there. If you like eye strain. I mean, again, here's another situation. Doctors don't know. Here's all these symptoms going on, but doctors don't know. That's all I hear constantly. Doctors, what do they know? How are they helping people? I get so many people say, the doctors don't know what's going on. The doctors don't know what's going on. The doctors don't know what goes on. I hear this. It's consistent with that. What are they getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for? So, yeah. It's, again, eye strain is what it feels like to me, in conjunction to an allergy that's causing pressure and inflammation there. All right? And if you take some of that downtime, my love, you'll start seeing a bigger difference in that, okay? And then I think you'll alleviate the strain, which will allow yourself to have more, to be more flow with your tear ducts. Okay? I'm going to close down the reading because we've got so much going on here. I've now just officially closed down the reading, so I'm not taking any more readings for the night. A few more. Iggy Sue. Question 1. Why am I so challenged with women dating and romance right now? What can I do to better attract quality women and heart and body desire? Okay. Let's see what the issue is with this. This is for Iggy Sue. You got to get out of the chasing mentality. Here's the thing, my love. But Iggy, you got to let women come to you. I feel like you're doing too much. When you meet women, you might be overcompensating and doing too much and showing up too much. And so you're kind of meeting women that might come and get what they need and leave. Or women that just don't want that type of, present energy, right? So you might be chasing in the sense of you're showing it too much, and I think that you're going after women that love to be chased, and it's just kind of that type of, I would say, paradigm that might not be working right now. So what I would do is, Iggy, is you have to understand first the type of woman that resonates with your energy. You have to understand first the type of woman that actually really does match with you, and be very clear about this, because I think you're attracted to a fantasy, but it's the wrong kind of fantasy, right? And you might be fantasizing about women that, are actually closed off and blocked. I think the woman that you really need right now is an intellectual woman that actually wants to divulge in conversation, and a woman that, also is expressive intimately and sexually as well, but also likes conversation. I mean, there are plenty of beautiful, cute, spiritual, and intellectual women. I just sense you're connected with a lot of vapid women, dude. So I think if you change your perspective on that, you'll start allowing yourself to attract different types of women. Right now, I'm just seeing very vapid women or closed off women that I think that you've been connecting with or chasing. And you're intellectual. I think that you also have, your sexual needs too. We all do, especially younger people, and that's fine. But you might be leading with that too much. you know, a little of the sex too much. But just shifting that perspective, you know, this year, you know, I think you'll meet a couple interests this year, Iggy. You know, I think you're going to realize this through these two options. This, like, you might have a couple dates or a couple interests that you connect with this year that will kind of reveal that to you. They'll reveal it. You'll be like, you know what? I see it. I get it. I'm kind of like, so you will find a sweeter girl that may be more, you know, sexy than you think because she's not flaunting it. So your Aquarius nature likes presentation. Your Aquarius nature likes the, you know, in-your-face energy, but don't let that, you know, kind of limit you of seeing those who are actually more sexy underneath a lack of presentation, right? So, you know, again, there's a lot of pretty girls that are not throwing it in your face. And once you actually see them, like, oh my God, this girl's hot. Or there's a lot of women that are throwing it in your face, but then when you get home, they take off the wig, they take off the implants, they take out the butt, and you're left with just a girl with 2 teeth and stumble for hair. That's the pretty girls that presented to you, a lot of them, right? So you want to make sure that go with the natural girl who looks good naturally because she will always look great, you know, and have that natural, real essence. And yeah, there's a lot of women, they put on that front. They just lead with all that. But then when the makeup comes off, the eyelashes come off, the wigs come off, you're like, and then there's nothing left to even intellectually to be stimulated on. So I need you to be keen on that. Okay, Iggy, I need you to realize that simple perspective shift. And then, you know, start classifying, you know, a very natural girl as being very, very pretty. And the ones that are open. You know, that's what you have to start defining. And then when you start identifying that, your actual type will change. Your type will change. You'll start attracting different women. Because right now, they're just showing you going after a woman who's like already has a wall down. You're like, oh, I'll take down your wall. What's going on? It's like, dude, she has a wall. A tootsie. Oh my God, that is awesome. I love you guys. Oh, that made my night. A 2-tooth tootsie. Erica, I can't with you. That's awesome. Oh my God, I can't with that comment. 2-tooth tootsie. You know, I'm going to use that. I'm going to say, you want a wholesome, naturally beautiful girl. You don't want a 2-tooth tootsie. I really think it, Iggy, that really, that perspective is you're going to see a lot of that because you're a quick learner. They're saying to me, when you see stuff, you change it, and so yeah. All right, got 3 more here. Card pull for Celeste. Yeah, that was just perfect. 2-2 Tootsie. I think that's got to be on a shirt somewhere, or a cartoon character needs to be created from that. Yeah, and that's one thing you have to understand intellectually too. People who lead with image first, without, and like, say, if the only thing that's overt is their image, there's nothing going on beneath. But if someone is image focused, but also their personality is very forward too, but then it matches. You realize their image is matching their personality. But we also be self-aware too. You know, I understand not everybody is into loud Puerto Rican Italians who are bald and tattooed like me. So I can accept that, you know. I want to go after, you know, I always, in my life, you know, resonate with people who understood there was a connection with. And understood everyone has their type too, you know, and not take that personally. I'm still shuffling for Celeste. Okay. Spirit, what is this relating to, though? The air font, but be more clear in it, though. There's a transformation going on. What's defeating you? I need more clarity on this. Let me see if I can just tune in instead of the card for Celeste. There's a decision that that's been weighing on you. it's almost like it's a sense of empowerment in a sense. They're saying you have to, accept defeat on a circumstance. The reason why I'm kind of hesitating, the cards are saying this, but I'm trying to dive in psychically to find out exactly what it is. And I'm so disconnected from you guys. Like as reading you, it's like I wish had someone in front of me to, it's easier, but it doesn't mean I can't do it. Yeah, there's I don't know if it's regarding a relationship or some sort of financial issue or legality or some sort. They're saying like, the way you move on from this is accepting that you've been defeated by this. It might just be, generally speaking, emotionally speaking, then you win. I said something like this last week too about like, or no, it wasn't even on the live. I think it was on some other thing. I was just saying that, a lot of times people are trying to, keep making, push something to work into something to go when it's been, instead of realizing they've been defeated, and by recognizing you've been defeated by it, you actually win in the end. So that's kind of the essence I'm getting through this read here and making those decisions to just move forward on this. It feels past, though. It feels like the past. And maybe this is emotional, Celeste. Maybe it's just something in the past you have to realize you've been defeated on and move on. Like a relationship or something. And understand like that's how you transform. So it wasn't successful for me. That relationship was not successful for me. I've been defeated in that relationship, but that's how I win. I'm moving on. And the Two of Wands in verse said you're very torn with it at some point because it feels past to me. So I'm trying to look up. I'm like, it doesn't feel current or future. It feels past shit. And you're torn with this. So it might just be a simple thing that. Maybe you're in the process of your healing right now. You just understand, yeah, I was defeated. That defeated me. I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't do anything. It wasn't, and maybe stop beating yourself up about it. Maybe that's the emotional message here. Stop beating yourself up about it. You're defeated. You couldn't change it. You couldn't fix it. Move on. You win by moving on from that. Maybe that's the emotional message. It seems like more of an emotional read to me. I like to be very specific, but like, again, not everything's going to be that way. Maybe the emotional thing is specific too. But yeah. Did Sydney just leave? Sydney, I have a reading for you, love. Sydney, did you book? We have questions for you, love. Right? How am I going to get to you? Especially, I think you booked paid for a video one. How am I going to get that to you? Sydney, where are you? So anyway, Celeste, that's what I feel, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, it feels very, very, very emotional. Say, look, I'm defeated. It was a situation I couldn't do. It's like saying I picked a drug addict and I tried to make them sober, but I didn't, so I failed. It's like, of course you're gonna fail at that. That's not your mission. No way in hell you can do that. So it feels it feels emotional, and I think it's your evolution. It's not, again, failed in the sense of you failed it. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Yeah, stop that, please. They're saying they're saying it's part of your emotional journey. Okay, part of your emotional journey, and just purging that thought process of it. You know what I mean? So. All right, Sydney, let me go in your Venmo now so I can actually give you, and then I have Sarah Cheney is after you. So go into your Venmo, and I'm going to comment on the link to join because you paid for that, okay? Where's my entry thing? Ah, there it is. Okay, so go in your Venmo. I'm going to comment now and send you that link, and click on that link. My face I make. And I'm gonna and accept me as a friend so then I can actually comment on our thing. Okay, here we go. Okay? Link is sent. We'll wait for you to join. Well, can you not, or do you want me to read you sent the questions, but you paid for the video. Do you not want to do video? What do you want to do with it? You tell me, I will do for you. I'm sure people want to see you too, Sydney. Okay, well, you give me $40, so I'll credit you $10. Okay? Okay, so the essence of my Jupiter return at 29 Taurus. What's the essence of my Jupiter return at 29 Taurus? You're asking the wrong guy of astrology, but I'll just answer the intuitive energy. I know nothing about that crap of like 29 and all that stuff, and so I don't know. But I'll let my guide speak to me and say what that means. It actually, you know what it means to me? It means you're gonna be a go-getter in a sense. It feels like you're gonna get a shift into more being determined. Now, however, that can also, I don't want to be cliche and generalize about stubbornness, but I'm getting that. It could work either direction. You could even hold yourself back or push yourself forward, they're saying. So I think that, do you want to do video? Okay. Well, then if you do, click the link and then I'll say for you to chime in. And then we have, I thought I told people I was done. You guys keep throwing more in there. More questions. Ay, ay, ay. I'll wait a couple more minutes, Sydney, and then I'll just answer someone really quick. Yeah, it's in the comments section, Sydney. I'm gonna answer somebody else's question really quick while I'm waiting for you to come on. To get this going. There's 4 more people. I thought I closed it down. Do you want to hold that for next week, Sydney? You sure? You want to say that for next week, the video? Or can you do it now? Because we could do, if you want, we'll do next week first thing if you want, if that's what you want. We can do it now, but if you can't now, we'll do it next week. So, I'm going to answer, do a card pull for Sarah Cheney while we're waiting. God, a card just flew out. That's for you, Sarah. Oh, I can't make that up. Okay. Sarah, that flew out of my deck. Do you see how damaged this card is, Sarah? Do you see how much use this card has gotten? This deck is not old. This deck is not even a year old. And I have decks that are like years and years old. Look at this card. It flew out. So they're saying that you got to start using your intuition. Here's another emotional read. You got to start using your intuition. They're saying that stop being conventional about things. Okay, Sydney, keep on hold. I'm going to finish this card pull, so stay on hold. Stop being so conventional about things. Okay, allow yourself to be more unconventional in your approach. They're saying that this year you're going to have really 2 decisions to make 2 options to make a decision on. It feels like opportunity for me, maybe like a business investment. It feels like for me, and it will be great change for you. Okay, so let your intuition guide you there, and think out of the box, because again, these 2 opportunities that will come to you will be out of the box, and they will cause a lot of shift or change in your work environment or financial environment. All right, so it's also predictive in the sense that you're going to have 2 great opportunities unfold to you this year, but they will be out of the box. Okay, and your intuition will know exactly what it is. Okay. All right, let's get Sydney in the mix over here. Let's throw her in. Sydney!
What's up? Oh my God.
What is happening?
Texting me on camera right now, and I'm in the car, and it's snowing like insanity. But this is fun. Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Hey, everybody. It's like crazy snow here. I'm in the car with Sarah Takeda. We just got back from dinner. I'm sorry, I got confused about the questions and the prices because I wasn't paying attention. But hey, camera stuff works. Sweet.
It's all good. And look, everybody wants to see you because everyone knows if they don't get to see you, now they get to see you in action.
You can see in the snow.
So, okay. So you asked about, and maybe Christopher, I just see Christopher's in the room now, about your, I'm sorry?
Who's Christopher? JK. Just kidding.
Right? I was going to say, we don't know who he is, right? He might be able to help, but maybe confirm my read on this too, because when you asked about your 29th entering, you said as of your Jupiter return at 29 Taurus. That's Christopher language. However, my vibe is saying that I think you're going to feel a thrust forward, but also your push and pull energy. Hey, hello. How's it going, Sarah? Oh my god, you guys are awesome. Okay, but let me get this read to you too. I think you're gonna feel a push this year. You know how you've been kind of conflicted about pushing forward and making the decision to move forward with your career and stuff like that. You've been very hesitant, but still in your head about it. I feel like the Jupiter return is actually gonna give you a push, more of a push, more of a thrust forward to where you're not really questioning yourself. So I feel like there is gonna be a lot more determination when that happens. A lot more confidence build up, more of the realization, like, you know what, God damn it, I'm doing this now. So it gives me a thrust energy,
Totally. Okay.
So,
Like that.
so I think that's kind of what it means for that. And this one says you're dreaming of a product line. Any insight and next steps from Spirit? They're saying there's got to be something with skin. Okay, so if it's some connection with like a skin essence of that, and and I've heard infused, something with infusing, like I don't know if it's infusing like essential oils or infusing something with this skin product as well. It's got to be something in conjunction with skin or an additional to this. Okay, I think that's going to be some sort of a skin product that you're going to realize. It could be secondary to this, but they're like emphasizing skin. Don't try to think of it now. Don't try to think of it right now. What's that?
I was thinking like cool, like personalized merch with like different modalities. I don't want to like say too much right now because I want to book a session with you and like
but let me just save that. But I'm saying they want you to think about a skin line. It's something with skin and also with essential oils infused. There's something of that they're really pushing on that. That's unbeknownst to you, but something I want to get out to you.
Okay.
Totally, because it might be additional. If I were to read, because I'm saying something other than what you're mentioning in the product line, what you're saying here feels temporary. It feels like it's just a stepping stone to something else. It feels like it's getting you in the rhythm of doing something, in that line of an entrepreneur energy. So it's more of a stepping stone. They're like, no, there's gonna be a skin essence or some sort of skin, I would say product. I don't know if I even call it that, but something that's skin related that helps with essential oils and more of the natural elements of such. That's what they're saying it's going to lead to.
Sounds a little risque. I mean,
everything's risque, honey.
honey.
Okay. But keep that in mind, because I think there's something like if you find something that's more natural and something that it really is helpful of the skin, I think there'll be something that maybe you meet someone who also is in that area that I feel like that you'll be pushed into, because I feel like it'd be more helpful. I feel like it'd be something that you'll be more sustainable at that time. That is kind of the push I was feeling about making more realizations, and so I'm not saying or they're not saying this is not, I'm not saying this. You said Spirit. That's what Spirit wants. So Spirit hopped in quickly. I think that whatever you decide to do now will lead you to that. I don't think that necessarily is going to be realized right away, but it's almost like planting the seed on that. Okay. Do you know? Let me ask this. Do you know how many times I've had people tell me I was crazy for because of prediction? I've heard that. You know how many times I've heard that until it happens and they come back saying, "I'm sorry for calling you crazy." Do you know how many times that happens to me? I'm used to that.
I don't think you're crazy at all. I want to tell you about some of the things that are like coming to fruition that we talked about like months ago. So yeah. I don't think you're crazy.
No, I'm being playful. Because a lot of times I'm saying, because I've heard things from great readers like, I would never do that, and then I'm doing it today, right? So I think it's this amazing reflection that there's so much change and there's so much going on for you. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's awesome. And I think it connects with like also that healing, holistic, vibe too. So in a sense, do what you're doing. It's going to expand. So what did you want to share really quick before we run out of time?
Oh, well, I don't know. I can just message you, but like you told me some things at the end of the year last year that I was like, how is that even going to come together? Like there would be PR opportunities and things like that to launch something, and I was like, PR? I mean, I don't even have anything like that on my radar.
I remember you looked at me like, what?
Yeah, like stuff is happening. And then you told me, that I would be doing like a lot more than just like I would have like a very big spiritual path ahead of me, which is very obvious, but like to see it starting to play out and like you said you saw retreats, which I never saw that for myself, but now I'm going to be rolling out sacred blueprints at like a Kundalini yoga retreat. Like, that's a dream, dude.
Yeah. 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 I really look. I really think you're gonna do something with like essential oils and skin. I think it's gonna be something you're gonna feel like it's gonna help people and detox people from toxic chemicals and stuff. I really do. So
I'm really trying not to make a smart ass comment because I love you.
do it. Come on, we're all feisty here. We're crass. Do it. We love it.
I can't right now. But I think I'm gonna
text it to me.
I'm gonna do face-to-face readings with you on Thursday nights from now on because this is fun.
It is, and it helps, and everyone loves you here too. Love, everyone loves you here.
Oh, whatever. What are they talking about? I love them too.
Okay, there you go. I think even Christopher loved seeing you on here too. So
I don't know who this Christopher person is. She doesn't know either. She has no idea. We don't know.
It's just some spirit that we, that just comes in every now and then. I don't know. I'm a medium. I just channel this Christopher entity. I don't know who the hell it is, but it's just some entity that keeps coming up. So
we love Christopher too. We love Christopher too, and we love you.
We love you too. Good to see you, Sarah, too.
I know you got a 2-for-1.
But what's that?
You got a 2-for-1, and Spirit totally architected this because I thought I was sending in for 2 questions.
Yeah, we did. Well, yeah, the first one was the push that the Jupiter. You're in the. What do you write here that we read?
I just didn't realize I was going to be on video or like how all that was going to work. But
are you a little tipsy?
No, I don't drink.
No.
Dude.
Okay. Just one. Sounds like it's a bad time. I hope you catch you in a tipsy state.
I don't drink.
Good. But yeah, the Jupiter in 29, the Taurus is saying is like that's all going to be like a push for you. That could be this new essence that comes out. You know what I mean? And they keep saying you'll understand because I said infused. You'll understand when that comes out when you meet the partner that you do that with. They're like, we want to fuse this into some. You understand that terminology. Why do you keep laughing and looking at Sarah and laughing about this?
I don't know, but all I have to say is when I see you in May, I will be very close to that Jupiter return. So good. I really hope to see you in Austin. So I can give you a big ol'.
Yeah. Of course, I'll be there.
Okay, cool.
And then again, you can private message me of that smart ass remark. I'm just dying to hear it.
Oh, I'll private message you.
Please do. It's a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to see you, love, and both you guys, and everyone's glad to see you too.
We love you.
Love you guys.
All right. Thanks for answering my questions. Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Love you too. Good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So who else wants to be the guinea pig today? Let me try to get rid of that. Where is it? There we go. Okay, I have a few more questions to answer. So those of you who've been waiting, thank you for being so patient. And those who came on camera, good. I know it could be kind of like nerve-wracking, but let's see the final 3 we have here, and we'll close the session after I get these questions done. The next is for Carrie Allen. It's loading. Bear with me a second. My 9-month-old grandson doctor wants him to gain more weight as he's smaller and eats less than other babies his age. Do you see any medical issues or is Henry, or is he just a lighter eater and doing his thing? Thanks, God. 9-month-old grandson's doctor wants him to gain weight more. That's very interesting. And again, this is Carrie Allen. My read is, I get he might appear to be a little underweight, but it doesn't feel significantly underweight. So his approach would be like, yeah, we want to get a little, get him to gain a little bit. It doesn't feel like there's a condition on this. It doesn't read that way. Yeah, it just feels like he's just a light eater to me. But I think that'll change probably in the 12th or 13th month. You know what I'm saying? So I think there'll be changes in the next few months with the eating thing. Because I feel like I get it, like he's a little underweight, can see the doctor seeing that. Like, yeah, we want to get more weight. It feels light to me. It doesn't feel heavy. So I feel like your grandson will pick up on that in maybe the 12th or 13th month. But yeah, I don't feel heavy on it. I think the doctor's kind of being light too. I don't think the doctor's really feeling it significant, like, oh my God, this is bad. I mean, so it feels light. So I think in 3 or 4 months he'll pick up his pace on the eating. It just feels like a little light, not so drastic. So it doesn't read as much concern for me. It just reads like he'll catch up eventually. He's still getting what he needs with nutrients and, to a certain degree. And I understand the doctor wanted him to gain more weight in a sense, but he's still eating, right? He's still eating. He's still, he's not rejecting food. And so there's certain, children and infants I've seen before through the years. I've been tapping into issues with these type similar things. I've seen kids rejecting food, not eating at all. So yeah, and maybe you can amp it up a little bit. Have the parent of the child, maybe amp up the food. But I just feel like he'll catch up sooner or later. It just feels like a lighter eater to me. And make sure that eating is not, when the child is eating, it's not surrounded by stress. Make sure whenever they're feeding the child, that is surrounded with comfort, because I feel like there might be within the family, within his parents, stress connecting with eating in a sense. So I feel like the parent might be kind of relating to stress and eating, and that could also be causing a little bit more of a tension for the baby not eating as much. So try to make sure that whenever the baby is fed, it's done with a comfortable environment. Because that's part of the reason why I feel like the baby's not eating so much. I feel like there's a stress connected to eating within the family, and it could be they don't want to be overweight, or they don't want to him to carry on similar traditions as previous has, or whatever the case is. And so I would just say when there's an eating time, just make sure it's a lighter in energy so the child feels more comfortable. Obviously, it's not too heavy because he's still eating, but I feel like 2 or 3 months, there'll be a progression. He'll kind of catch up to that norm, we say, which, what's norm. So yeah, that doesn't read heavy to me. And I don't think the doctor is being that heavy about it either. Just kind of like, yeah, we want him to gain a little more weight, but he'll catch up. I do feel that. Okay. Amanda Law, I have 2 more. Thank you guys for being so patiently waiting. And Amanda, I love Sears Joiner. Let's see. The energy has been so strange too past week. This is for Amanda Hall. Mental Legal. I think I'm saying it right. Let's shuffle these. Interesting. Why is everything so just all these reads have been like very emotional. They're like all emotional, energetic reads. I mean, that's everything. Today I was kind of like wanting to like be more magician, more magic, more specific pulls, but it's like it's all emotional pulls, and that's fine. But I like to have fun with a little bit of wows, little flashy reads. I love that, but these aren't flashy reads. But if they're what you need, you're going to want to hear it, and it's going to be beneficial, clearly. But just shuffling the ready of these cards for Amanda. We have one more after her. Yeah. Yeah, this is very emotional. You have this like, they're just saying this is like this is my Leo card, but it's also my strength card and determination card, and almost like a primal energy card too. So with the Leo card and the strength and that primal energy, and I heard Spirit say, tell her she needs to do exactly what she wants to be doing right now. And I think that you've been in opposition between making choices between yourself and other people, always kind of like letting everything get in your way, and always having to have to maneuver around other people, kind of like the collective read we were saying before, or in the beginning. So they're saying that now it's time to do exactly what you want to be doing, not what everybody else wants you to be doing. And so, like I said, it's an emotional read, and you're always torn and trying to balance between me and somebody else, me and this other person, me and the relationship, me and the mom, me and the dad, me and this person. It's like now it's time to get rid of that and stop allowing people to get in your way, and start maneuvering around them. And so I think a lot of that Is it X? Okay. Anyway, so they're saying like now it's time to do exactly what you're going to be doing, and getting into that modality, not allowing people to be excuses why you shouldn't anymore or be in the way of doing such. Okay. And so I think that's really the emotional part of this. Ace of Cups is all about like harvesting new energy. The Ace of Cups is also about, harvesting creativity, giving birth, fertility. So it could be a lot of new ideas be coming to you during this time that you need to have a clear voice, a clear mind to be able to inspire these new creative thoughts and energy this year. So it really is an emotional shift and a change of modality right now. And so there might be a new birth that you give this year when it comes to like an idea. Maybe it's a literal birth. I don't think so, but if it is, then take it as that. But it just feels like a newer fertilization of thought and energy and intellect, because you've actually allowed yourself to maneuver around the oppositions and what you have deemed to be importance that have been outweighing your personal perspectives. So it's emotional. It's what spirit wants to say. So it's almost like they're commending you that you're going in that direction. And also, understanding that kind of primal energy within of like needing to get what you need to get in your life. And so, it's a very loyal energy. So loyal to the self. Like that's why I would say, this is the Leo card about loyalty in a sense. So maybe there is some Leo qualities that you possess within you that need to be expressed or, adapted, or just that in general. And so, they're saying you've been resistant to self. Look at this. You've been resistant to self-love. They're saying, look at that. You've been resistant to self-love. And they're saying now it's time to put that love in yourself. To bring that, look at this. I can't make this up. The balance card, and then this, the Two of Pentacles, all about balance. This came in the upright because you're not in balance. This is how I'm bringing the balance. So, yes, it's emotional, but it's a theme of where you need to be. But when these are emotional reads, obviously you guys are spiritually inclined. So, these are messages that you need to hear. And so which is where you're at and where actually the things that you actually want to hear. So in a sense, you are in the right direction. You're in the right path. It's just understanding what you're coming out of and what you're going into now. And again, that new birth energy, this year too. So yeah. Yeah, and even though they're your grandchildren, my love, and I get that, too, in May coming in, it's also like it's also signifies birth for you too. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're connected with those experiences, so it's also, a new birth for you. It's also a new realization for you. It's also new fertility for you too. So it's almost in alignment to the energy that you're experiencing right now. That makes sense. That's why that Leo energy is coming up. But like connect with that primal energy again. That very loyal to self, primal energy, to connect with that again. And yeah, then I think that the self-love will be kind of connected. Okay. I don't know if Christopher stepped out or not, but it's a good read because it's also it's advisory, but it's also at the same time prediction. Like it's also saying that's where you're going. So it's kind of, you get two ends of the spectrum there. Okay. Last question. Rebecca Wallace, you have been so patient and waiting. We appreciate you. And so hopefully you're still awake and still in the room. Will the real Rebecca please stand up? Question. Do your guides have any advice for me regarding my relationship with my recent ex? We've been together for 15 years. My best friend. Is there any hope for us? Okay, let's see. Sounds sixy. So stupid. You're full of six. You're so full of six. That's such bull six. She's a sexy lady. But she's full of six. Your recent ex. Yeah, Rebecca, I understand the longevity, and I understand the, there is a very tight-knit connection there, and I'm not going to lie about that. That there is tight connection. You guys never really find your rhythm together. That's the issue. You know what I'm saying? And when you guys connect with the rhythm, and then it just falls off rhythm again, then it connects with the rhythm, then it falls off again. So it's been kind of like concurrent, the consistent energy. I really think that there's a lot you guys connect on, but I feel like you really are outgrowing it, even though I know you want to kind of consider that working out. but I feel like you're needing more in a dynamic, and I feel like your intuition's saying this dynamic will go on, but you'll be deprived in what's for your future. So I think you guys will always be in each other's lives, but I think that you'll be outgrowing the romantic dynamic of it. I just don't think you realize that yet. You will realize that more, because I feel like you need more travel, more adventure in your future. And I think there's a lot of travel and things that you're going to want to be experiencing that he's just not going to want to do. They're not going to want to do. They're going to be more, isolate to doing those things. And I feel like they're going to want to settle down while you're, in life, and you're going to want to expand more. So I just feel like the rhythm itself and the direction itself will be off. And so that's why I think that, necessarily wouldn't get together in a sense of reconnecting romantically, but I think you guys will always have this dynamic that's not closed, but you might want to put it in the proper perspective, and you might be lovers for some time, and it's one of those situations like no one really did anything wrong. It's just like there's an imbalance with the chemistry. There's an imbalance of you're going to be growing into different aspects that they're not going to, so it won't connect in that sense, and there'll be some issues in that sense with compatibility and intimacy because of that difference. So it would be smart to kind of like allow yourself to have space with this. But like I said, he's going to be more isolated as he moves forward in his life, and you're going to be more expansive and connect with different people, more communities, more travel, and he's going to be kind of in a different sense of that. So, and I feel him kind of narrowing down into that. So maybe he is like more that way, but narrowing down into more of isolated energy. So no, I really think it's time to grow out of that and grow and to move on. But I think you guys will always be there for each other, because I'm looking at the dynamics, like it's a decent dynamic. It's just outgrowing each other. And I think that he's also very genuine. I think he shows up. I think he cares, but there's a limitation when it comes to intimacy and expressing that way that I think he's reserved on. And I feel him getting more reserved in that sense, and I feel you branching out more. But I definitely do see you guys continuing with communication and not severing this dynamic, but and appreciating it. But I definitely do see, like, in time you'll both have different relationships. You look back and his relationship will be kind of like what you used to be, and your new relationship will be exactly who you've been wanting to be. So you both will have positive outcomes, and I think there'll never be I would say a negative wall between you guys. Even if you take some time off, I think you guys will always have a great fond connection and a liking for each other and respect for each other. Okay? But I like him. I like you too. And I think I get why you guys spent so much time together. But, when you guys accept that you guys have grown, you'll still be in each other's lives. So still have the support from each other. And then enjoy when you guys have your new relationships in the future. That's probably, I haven't had one like that in a long time where I wasn't like, let him go, it's horrible, it's a bad connection. I don't usually have that in a while. This one, I understand it. I understand the latching on, but just be open to the growth and change out of it. Okay? Hope that makes sense. And I really appreciate you waiting for so long, my love. You've been so patient. And that's the only reflection of your patience and your relationships too. But, understand what's worth being patient for too as well, right? And when to move on from things as well. But I appreciate your patience. And I hope that makes sense. But either way, I feel like there's happiness at the other end of this for both of you guys. And I don't feel treacherous, turmoil or anything of that nature between you guys moving forward, no matter what the dynamic shifts into. Okay? You guys will both be in complete acceptance of it. So it feels very peaceful to me. Okay, and notice my tone changed on this. I became more like patient with it. I became more nurturing on the question, because that's the energy I feel with it, and even moving forward with it. Okay. All right, guys, how's your 6 addicts going? Are y'all full of 6? That was going on behind the scenes. I was trying to be a part of it, but I just couldn't be a part of it. But that was quite funny, actually. Well, guys, it's been a kind of kooky evening. And please remember, guys, when you get reads done, like a lot of times with future predictions, there might be some crazy things you hear, in predictions and so forth. I'm just so used to it by now. I've been doing this for so long that, I'm used to people saying, yeah, right. And I love that too. It's exciting too, because I love when people realize what they grow into. It's so exciting when I see something and they're not aware of it, but I know they're growing into it. And when they grow into it, it's so exciting. That's so pleasurable. So understand that. And so a lot of times people only ask for the future because they don't know it. They're curious about it. So also be aware that the future is going to be something you're not aware of, right? And so that's the wonderful thing about it. And so I appreciate every single one of you guys in the room. It's pretty late, so I'm not going to do a sound bathe meditation, but I appreciate everybody, you guys, for coming and staying on board. If you have any questions or suggestions about, next week, a topic, maybe certain things you want to do. I think I'm coming up to my 50th episode. My 50th episode coming up soon. Maybe now I got this thing down, this video thing down, we can have people come on and introduce each other who's been, kind of the regulars in the room. And yeah, and so forth. And I know Christopher had mentioned last week about coming on at some point. At some point he'll come on too. We'll do like a tag team reading whenever he's free, and we both have a clearance of energy. Was on last week, and so that was enough of both of us together for a while. We posted a lot of stuff, so give a breather, and then at some point he'll be on this show here, and we'll do like a tag team reading here for you guys, enjoying that. Maybe for the 50th episode we can do that, whatever's clever in the timing, and no rush, right? I always say, what's the rush? There's no rush. So again, yeah, soon. Christopher, that's why I asked you in the text message, because I was feeling like I didn't want you to think I didn't want you to come on, but at the same time I feel like need some air. That's why I asked you that question, because I'm like, I don't want to ask the question and then to think that I don't want him on, but I feel like we need to like give air on it. So hopefully you understand where I was coming from on that. 260 bitches in here. Yeah, and so what's the other week's? Oh, here's Rashid. Oh, Rashid's giving me a nice little validation. The week Scott told me that my patient would be leaving and that I would be staying at the location. I literally unfold. Don't do that. It literally unfolded days afterwards. Oh yeah. Sorry, I remember you saying that. I remember that. I totally remember that. Yeah. Sure. Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's great to have validation. I love getting the validation because when I'm like reading so much and I don't hear anything back from people, I get like kind of like, what's going on? Like, am I just saying crap? Like, so when you guys give me the validation, it helps me going. Because I don't care how long we psychics and memes do this. It's always brand new to us, and we're always like in a state of something else is giving us the information. So yes, it's very much validating for me to hear that too, because I say so much stuff that feels like I feel like I'm crazy, and then it's good to hear that they connect, because it keeps us going as readers to trust it more. I don't care. At 42 years old, I'm still having to focus on and trusting it better and more. So but I'm also trying to be light with circumstances, no expectations, and I feel like there's always a nice we have a destiny ahead of us that's always going to unfold. So there's no need to rush. Everything will unfold the way it needs to unfold. We're never going to miss anything. So thank you for the validations. I appreciate that. And Nina, thank you for tonight. And again, next week, any suggestions on topics, let me know. Appreciate every single one of you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Those who are new, if you want to book a personal session, they're a lot different than these reads. I have you one-on-one. In this format, it's disconnected. I'm reading text. And so in a one-on-one session, it's a better format. And so it's scottcruisepm.com. The link is in the description. And I also offer intuition builder sessions that's there to help you with your abilities too, becoming more aware of your psychic abilities as well as your mediumship abilities. And I'm thinking about turning that into some sort of a course too, or some sort of a workshop. So I'm trying to figure that out too. Between that and creating music, and I'm working on 2 other projects at the moment that are taking a lot of my time as well. So we'll get that going as well. So so check that out, scottcruisepm.com. I will see you next week. So tune in and share it with everybody else. I will leave the long outro going so you guys can continue to chat. And I will see you all next week. You are all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. Buenos noches or buenos nachos. Bye, guys.
David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table. No, you said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
my God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that make
always
sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I said, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come out here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony.